Hello, dear friends. I have another message from my recent angel visitors to share with all of you. And I thought maybe I would invite you, before I begin to share this message, to just take a moment, put your hand on your heart space, and allow yourself to just breathe in for a moment the love that is right here with you right now, so that perhaps you can allow yourself to tune in as well, to feel and to recognize love that lives beyond form is also right here with you right now. So perhaps as you just let yourself tune into this love that is right here for each of us, just always surrounding us, that we're swimming in, and we feel it and recognize it and tune into it as we tune into the love that is within our heart space, as we allow our hearts to open and recognize that that is there. So just really feeling love, even if you need to begin by just focusing on some deep feelings of love you have for someone special in your life, or just deep gratitude, let yourself call up those feelings, because that will help to raise your own vibration and help you to begin to tune into this higher vibration of pure love that is all the love that lives beyond form. And we're just learning to tune into that. So you might just notice if there's any blocks in your heart space. Give yourself permission to just breathe and let go a little bit more, and let this love in that is here for you. Now, here is the message that I have to share with you today. We thank you for returning to this time to be with us and to hear from us. For it is true, as you are remembering, we are the other part of you which longs to be remembered. We long to rejoin with you in your awareness of our presence. Your years, eons really, of striving has blocked your ability to open your awareness to what lies beyond the thinking mind. Your intuition, which is our subtle voice within, tells you that love beyond form cannot be forced nor reached through a mind that is pushing. We ask that you allow us to be within the moments that you let down to us, to our love that waits within you. For love of self is truly the receiving and openness to receive us, your higher selves. And therefore, all love that lies beyond your senses. Paradoxically, you might find your remembering is aided by allowing yourself to sink back into feeling from within, for resting back into yourself, letting down your resistance and sinking into being is the portal into truth, into love that lies beyond form. Thus, we ask you to simply be. Put down the needing to accomplish or produce for a small while, and just let yourself be. Be who you are in union with us, with all love, that we might be allowed to lift you beyond the heaviness of form, to witness and sense with your inner eye what lies beyond. The other part of you that is ever expanding in light and love. Now we know this is difficult and may feel quite foreign to you. You are allowing yourself to receive something you can't quite comprehend. And yet, deep within, you recognize something very familiar. And you sense perhaps, if not now, but soon will, that it is home calling to you. We call to you to return to the embrace of all love, even while you remain in form. For we would lift you to new heights, new joys, new perspectives that far exceed your experience thus far. Yes, in a sense, we would have you fly with us to realms beyond your limited vision, thus far at least. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Let's first begin with being, with allowing being, just being. Tune into our love that is here with you and rest into us, into all love, simply being with you. For in the being of our union, may your vision and knowing expand. Joining with us in our one love will, with patient allowing, allow you to see and know with us. We are here with you, and our deep love lies within you. We love deeply with you. We love you deeply. Rest here in love with us. For now, that is all. I feel like there are some things here that it would be good for us to unpack a little bit. And so I'm just going to go back through this and maybe just piece apart the things that come to my mind, the lessons I've learned over time, and help you get a little deeper in this understanding and knowing. They begin, we thank you for returning to this time to be with us and to hear from us. I think it's valuable to note that love that lives beyond form is grateful when we are open to receiving, to hearing, to feeling, to knowing that there is more than just this body, just this physical realm that we think is, or at least have thought is all there is. So love wants us to reach out, to be open to hear, to receive. And then they said, for it is true, as you are remembering, we are the other part of you, which longs to be remembered. So this is the other piece of ourselves. And I've finally started to really grasp that, like, to be complete in love, we need to be open to our souls, to our higher selves that are longing for us to open this channel and find the other piece of ourselves, right? And connect with that. They said your years, eons really, of striving has blocked your ability to open your awareness to what lies beyond the thinking mind. I must say, I can definitely attest to that. I am really good at striving and pushing and trying to figure things out on my own. And when I am doing that, I'm blocking my connection. Whenever I'm in that ego frame of mind that I think I'm small and alone and separate and have to force things, then everything just becomes harder and I block the connection. So they're really urging us to stop the striving for a while, to give ourselves permission to allow ourselves to be shown, to be led, essentially our soul's greatest longing, our calling, what we came here to experience and to learn, will come to us, and the joy will unfold, not because we force it and try to make it happen, but because we are open to allow ourselves to let our higher self, to let love beyond form lead us. So it doesn't happen with the striving. And that is a lot of emotional work, to work through the layers of the fear, to, in some sense, and I've done a lot of this lately, kind of breathe through the anxiety of letting go of the pushing and the producing, to allow ourselves to be led. So it takes some work, some journaling, to bring all the fear that arises to love itself, to love beyond form, to our higher selves, so that we can be reminded that this is not how we intended to live, not in the striving, but in the allowing. Let's see where I was. We ask that you allow us to be within the moments that you let down to us, to our love that waits within you. So we have to give ourselves more moments of just breathing and letting down to love, so that we can tune into it being there. For love of self is truly the receiving and openness to receive us, your higher selves, and therefore all love that lies beyond your senses. This was one of the most powerful things I learned early on. If you want to raise your sense of self-worth, self-esteem, it comes by loving yourself enough to at least stop the striving, to be willing to just be, so that you can recognize the other part of you and allow yourself to let that love in. For love of self is truly the receiving and openness to receive us. So the love of self comes as we allow ourselves to receive the love of our higher selves, of love beyond form. Did I make that clear? It's kind of an interesting twist that, I don't think years ago, for all my years in therapy, it was always kind of elusive. How do we teach people, to reclaim their self-esteem, your sense of worth? Your sense of worth comes from being open to know the other part of you and to let yourself be loved by love beyond form. Okay, so paradoxically, you might find your remembering is aided by allowing yourself to sink back into feeling from within. So this is the part sometimes that takes some work, that I know is very difficult for many people. We need to allow ourselves, let's see where that was, to let down our resistance to all of the feelings that are there within us. So it's aided by allowing yourself to sink back into feeling from within us, from within yourself. So you have to give yourself permission to tune into the emotion that's there. And sometimes I notice that by physical sensations. Like I might notice I've got a headache, or I might notice a heaviness in my chest. And sometimes, most often, if there's a physical sensation, it represents a block. It represents an emotion that I've kind of trapped within. So that can be one clue. But just to give yourself permission to tune into, what am I feeling? If there's sadness, to allow yourself to have the sadness, so that it can move through you, so that your channel, your ability to receive the love, can flow in freely. So that's why journaling is so very important, to just write out your feelings, just My good friend Ruth, who does our podcast with me, she calls it vomit letters, just to be able to pour out all of your feelings and just get them all out and bring it all to love. And that might be a journaling letter to your higher self. It might be to a loved one who lives beyond form. It might be to God, to love itself. Just bring all of those feelings to love so that they can move through you, and you can let love tell you the truth about that and bring the comfort and the love. So you have to let yourself sink back into feeling from within, even when the feelings are difficult, because it's in the blocking those feelings that we block our ability to connect and to receive the love. We have to let ourselves have all of our feelings, even if it's anger, even if it's self-judgment, all of it. We need to work through the layers. So resting back into yourself, letting down your resistance, and sinking into being is the portal into truth, into love that lies beyond form. Thus, we ask you to simply be. Put down the needing to accomplish or produce for a small while, and let yourself be. Be all of you. I'm adding to this. Whatever you feel, embrace all of your feelings. And then they go on to say, be who you are in union with us, with all love. So just let yourself embrace and love all of your feelings so that you can allow yourself to merge back into being embraced by all love that is here for you. And they go on, they say that we might be allowed to lift you beyond the heaviness of form, to witness and sense with your inner eye what lies beyond. The other part of you that is ever expanding in light and love. We know this is difficult and may feel quite foreign to you. And I would add to that, we're learning to tune into something that is very subtle. I had a dear friend remind me, if I want to learn to trust it, I need to notice the subtle feelings, the subtle experiences, and I need to write them all down so that I can allow myself to accept the reality of this, even though it feels very subtle. You're allowing yourself to receive something you cannot quite comprehend, and yet deep within, you recognize something familiar, and you sense perhaps, if not now, but will soon, that it is home calling to you. We call to you to return to the embrace of all love, even while you remain in form. So I would say, and this has been my journey that has been so powerful. It was when I was sick and couldn't figure out how to heal myself, and the doctors couldn't figure it out, that I realized this had to do with my internal feelings that I was blocking. All the years of grief and heaviness and fear I'd carried. So I turned off the news, shut out, all the external ego stuff that I possibly could, journaled every morning, laid out all my feelings, brought it all to love. And then I sat in silence and I said, love, help me to hear what you would have me hear. And that is the place where I realized home. It was in the meditation, in the stillness, that I began to experience the truth of who I was beyond form. And I can only guide you there. You just need to allow yourself to be open. Help me to hear, help me to know, help me to remember. I think I did mention before on the morning minis with Divine Chaos, I did create a journey of remembering with hypnotic induction. That's, I think, the best tool I've been able to offer so far, aside from, of course, what I've just shared, to help you go deeper to remembering. But love is calling you home. And as you clear your mind and your emotions, your body of all the heaviness by just bringing it all to love, then you can be open to be clear enough to receive and to remember and to let love show you what you've forgotten. They say we call you to return to the embrace of all love, even while you remain in form. For we would lift you to new heights, new joys, new perspectives that far exceed your experience thus far. Yes, in a sense, we would have you fly with us to realms beyond your limited vision, thus far at least. I will tell you this is amazingly true. It's been hard work for me to work through all my layers of blocks and fears. I had a really, really powerful experience with a dear friend just yesterday, and I'm learning some healing energy work, and the angels were able to come through for us at the same time. And it was just such a powerful experience. And both of us were like, wow, how did we not know this existed before? How have we both spent this many years not aware that there was this healing power that was accessible to us? So that's what begins to happen. You begin to allow a new awareness of something that's here for us that we just haven't tapped into because we've been on a lower vibration. And that's what I said to her. I think we both just needed to come up to a higher vibration to tune more into the love for us to be able to see and recognize and acknowledge that this was here. So I'll continue though. They say, but we are getting ahead of ourselves. Let's first begin with being, with allowing being, just being. Tune into our love that is here for you and rest into us, into all love, simply being with you. Learning to stop, I remember years ago, to simply sit yourself down and say, I'm going to leave the laundry. I'm going to leave the dishes. I'm going to leave whatever bills I thought I had to get done. I am going to commit to letting myself just be for a while. And you might, again, have to breathe through the anxiety to allow yourself to simply be. For in the being of our union, may your vision and knowing expand. Joining with us in our one love will, with patient allowing, allow you to see and know with us. We are here with you, and our deep love lies within you. We love deeply with you. So when we are loving another, when we're allowing ourselves to be loving toward a pet, toward a loved one, toward a stranger that you help on the street, or, if you work in whatever profession you're in and you just extend love to someone, love beyond form is loving with us. We're then connecting to that higher consciousness that is all one love. And that helps to raise our vibration to remember we are only love. We love deeply with you. We love you deeply. Rest here in love with us. For now, that is all. So perhaps you could practice allowing yourself today to acknowledge love that lives beyond form is right here. And can you let your heart be open? Can you let yourself practice a little more being instead of doing, so that you can receive and allow instead of trying to force? And you will find that everything flows So much easier in the allowing instead of the forcing, the striving, the pushing. May you, my dear friends, know and receive the deep love that is here for you, right here, right now.